Hey guys, so I'm here for part 2 of my makeup that I'm getting rid of video. I have some cheek products, some cheek palettes, so I don't really know where to start. Let's go ahead and get on into it, and hopefully I don't talk myself into keeping any of these products. The first thing I have is this Hard Candy Prismatic Highlighter in Iridescent Pearl, and this is pretty. I love the packaging, but when it goes on the skin, it's just a little bit I don't know, it's just chalky. It doesn't really show up a lot, so that's one that I was like, not worth keeping. I'll get rid of you. I have a Milani Illuminating Face Powder in, it says Ultra Smooth Highlighter, Bronzer, and Blush. Now, I don't really understand how this could be a highlighter because there's pink and brown and stuff in it. It's really pretty, but it's just not something that I like when everything's all mixed into one product, so don't need that. I have a Physicians Formula Healthy Glow Bronzer. This is, again, one where the pink is mixed in, and I do have Pink Leopard from Too Faced, so something like this I don't really need. And I think the color is like a little bit golden and just a weird tone for my skin tone, so I don't need to keep that anymore. I have this Illuminating Shimmer from Beige Cosmetics and Illuminate Cosmetics. This is in Shimmering Sand. Now, it's a really pretty kind of highlighter, but it's a bronzy gold, and it's just, I don't know, I never use it. I don't use it on the body. It's kind of dark for the face, so that's going away. I have Cheesecake from ColourPop. This is a very pinky, pigmented shade, so I was using it as a highlighter, but then recently I was kind of like, it's a little bit dark for my skin tone. Maybe I shouldn't be using that. And same with this one, Crown of My Canopy from Wet n Wild. I was kind of like, it's a little dark for my skin tone, so I'm just going to move it out. I'm trying to get rid of products. I'm trying not to keep hoarding products anymore. If I'm not using them, just get rid of them. Stop talking myself into keeping them. So that's what I did with those ones. One time I loved them, but now I'm just trying to get rid of them. And then this is Ballerina from Laura Geller, and it's really, really pretty, but again, it's pretty dark on my skin tone. It's a really pretty bronze shade. I don't know if you can see that there, but just on top of my cheeks. I never get tan enough to really have this work for me, so I'll be moving that out. A couple more things from the drugstore. I have this Milani Candlelight. This is another bronzer blush highlight. Really, really pretty, but I never use it just individually, and I don't swirl it all together either, so just time for it to go. This Revolution Makeup Shimmer Brick in Radiant. Again, I just don't use it all together, and to really focus up there, I have other products I could be using instead. Another one, this Bombshell Bronze Illuminating Bronzer in Starlet. Again, don't use it just individually, and I certainly don't mix them all together, so time for it to go. These e.l.f. little illuminating balls, I don't really know what they're called. They come with a puff. I don't like them. They're very bronzy, and they look very dark on my skin tone, so it just doesn't work for me. I have a bronzer from Covergirl. This is the Chocoholic Bronzer, which I did not get for a long time because I was like, oh, this is super dark for my skin tone. And then something in me was like, no, you need to get it. You can make it work. I should have just listened to the original me and not picked this up. It's really pretty. It smells so good like chocolate, but I just do not need it in my collection. Warm Nudes highlighter from Physicians Formula. This is one I've gone back and forth on, and I'm just officially moving it out of my collection because I don't need it anymore. I don't really focus in one area, although I had been doing that. I'm just not doing that anymore because I have enough highlighters and bronzers and stuff. I just don't need things that are going to take a little bit more of my time. Although it's not going to take that much more time, I just don't need it. I also am getting rid of this Laura Geller Balance and Brighten Foundation in Medium. This just doesn't work for me. It kind of gives me like a grayish tint to my skin, and I don't really wear powder foundations that often. And then this BB Super BB All-in-One Beauty Balm Powder in light medium from Physicians Formula. Again, it just doesn't the right tone for me, so I'm moving it out of my collection. I wanted to kind of use a powdered bronzer, I mean a powdered foundation, but it just doesn't work for me. I have a NARS blush in Goulet or Goulet, whatever it is. I can never pronounce it, but it's a little bit deep. It's what I got for being rouge at Sephora like 5 years ago. So it's kind of like, oh, this was my Sephora gift, but I don't use that shade and I probably never will, so there's no point in holding on to it. And then I had another Laura Geller. This is in the shade Light, which was a better tone for my skin, but certainly I don't wear powdered foundation, so it's just time to get rid of that. Then for palettes, I have this Lorac Keys of Confetti highlighter and blush palette, which is so pretty. There's bronzer, 2 blushes, and then this is more of a light blush. So pretty. A nice variation of color, but I just don't really use these. They're super pigmented. They're nice in the summer, but if I'm not using it, I might as well pass it on. As well as this Becca Blush with Light palette trio in Wisteria, Songbird, and Snapdragon. It's great quality. I just don't really use them. The 2 I use the most are these, and I don't even really pull for that much. So I'm going to move it on. Hopefully somebody else gets some good use out of it. I have a face luminizer palette from Essence, and this was really pretty, but it kind of just fades, and I have a lot of other ones that I really love, so I don't need this. I have a Catrice Prime and Fine contouring palette. This is a contour and a highlight. I found that this was a little bit too gray on my skin tone, and the highlighter is just not enough of a highlighter for me. I have an Ulta Beauty little trio. This was a translucent setting powder, a bronzer, and then a highlighter, they're calling this. It's really deep though for my skin tone, so I don't know. I got the most use out of this, which was a really nice translucent powder, and the bronzer was even nice, but I don't know. It was free with some sort of purchase, and I don't need it. And this Elevation palette, this is a mini highlighter palette from Pure. They were pretty, but they weren't what I expected. This one's a little bit deep for my skin tone. This one is kind of like a yellow more than a gold or anything. So, I don't know, just not in love with this anymore. I'm going to move that out. Then I have this Hourglass Illumi Sheer Color Trio, which is very nice. It's in Sunset, and I do love it. I think the quality is great. However, I don't use creams enough to hold on to something like this, which is a shame because it's so pretty and I love it. And I think when it's on the skin, it looks really nice. It's just kind of dried out because I don't use it, and it's just time for it to go. Last couple palettes that I have are the Pure. This is some sort of contour palette they originally came out with when contouring was big. Now it has 2 bronzers or contours, 2 blush, and 2 highlighters. Very pretty, but the bronzers are pretty dark. The blush are colors that I don't wear, and the highlighters are just kind of so-so. So that means I don't need to hold on to this anymore. Sweet Peach Glow from Too Faced, which I know a lot of people didn't like, but I liked it. The only problem was I don't like the smell. Highlighter's really pretty. The bronzer's nice. The blush is a shade that I love, but I cannot stand that peach scent. It drives me insane. Then the Covergirl Chocoholic Contour Palette, kind of the same as if you watch my previous video, I talked about, or no, that was in this video. Oh my gosh. Everything's running together. If you saw this like 5 minutes ago, I talked about the bronzer, how it smells like chocolate, but it's super deep. This color here is super deep. Like, darker skin tones would love this, but not a skin tone like mine. And then these 2 highlighters are way too deep as well for me. And the last palette I had was this Park Avenue Princess. It's a bronzer, blush, and highlight palette, which I didn't use a lot, but probably the highlighter is what I got the most use out of. It's pretty, but I just have other palettes that I don't need this one anymore. A concealer from Hard Candy. This is the shade Light. This is the heavy duty concealer, Glamouflage. It's really pretty at a time. I love this, but I've just come to not really like this. This one's kind of separated because it's a little bit old, but this is really heavy. It's tacky like the It Cosmetics one, so I put it on with my finger, but it just really is a little bit too heavy on my under eyes with the fine lines that I have. And then this was their mix-in makeup drops that I've had for a long time. They were nice, but now they're separated and gross, and it's time to get rid of them. This is a medium too, because I had some foundations that were too light for me, so I got a little bit deeper mix-in drop, and again, they were really nice, but they're all separated, and it's definitely a different color than when I bought it, so need to move that out. So this foundation, I have used half the tube, but I absolutely hate it. This is the Bare It All foundation from Pure in the shade Light Tan. First of all, I think Light Tan was way too dark for me, even when I was self-tanning in the summer. But it's tacky on your skin, and it stays tacky. And even after I powder, I feel like it's just too much. It's when I put it on with a sponge, the sponge like sticks to it when I'm pulling it out, and it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. Same with this Tarte Guard. This is a tinted moisturizer, and I feel like it's tacky too. This is in the shade medium. I actually got this in a kit. Some sort of kit they have at Sephora has this, and then they have a couple of their other skincare products. I thought I would like it because I'm really looking for a tinted moisturizer, but one that's not tacky, and this one was tacky, so didn't like that. I have this Photo Focus foundation in the shade Desert Beige, which, does this ever look like it would have been appropriate for me? I mean, I think I got this thinking, oh, when I'm self-tanned and I'm really dark, it'll work, but I don't ever get this dark, and then I think I was going to mix it with lighter foundations, which I never did, so it's just time for it to go. I need to stop making excuses for keeping products. I have the Lorac Tantalizer Baked Bronzer in the shade, well, it doesn't really have a shade, but it's really pretty. I had one before and I really liked it, and so I picked up another one, but I just haven't used it. It's really reddish. It has some gold mixed in with it, but it's right there. It's pretty dark. I like it, just not for me. Now, I did find a couple other eye products in here, and then I have a couple lip products, so those are the last few things we'll go through. But before that, I have a Stila Kitten. This is the Shimmer Duo, and I don't know, I never really used this. It's pretty, but it's pretty subtle as well, and I just go for more pigmented things, so this is something I never really got into. And I had this Retouch Brightening Concealer in the shade Lavender, which I didn't know it was lavender when I bought it, and it's one of these brush tips. This is a Catrice product, if I didn't say that. So I've never used this because I don't need lavender, and I was planning on using it under my eyes, and I'm not using lavender under my eyes. I don't need that. So, alright, and like I said, the last few things, I found a couple more eyeshadows, and then it's all lip liners. So I have Bella Champagne. This is another shimmer from Milani. Really pretty, but again, I just don't use it, so there's no sense of hoarding. An Essence eyeshadow in Rosy Happiness. This is another one of those like plum but gray tone shades, which is really pretty. But it's not very pigmented, which was nice for the crease. I just decided I didn't want that anymore. And then a NARS Stud. This is really pretty silvery, but I don't often use it. And it's okay quality, but I'm trying to get rid of my NARS products as they're not cruelty free. And then I have this Josie Maran Coconut Watercolor eyeshadow, and I've had this for I don't even know how long. It's a really pretty color. I hope that she still makes these because I'd like to get more. Oh, I see. Playa del Pink. I'd like to get more of these because I think they're really good quality. And when you pull it up, it comes out on a little wand like this, which was really nice for application. So very pigmented, very shimmery, but it's very old, so that needs to go. Lip liners. I have a ton, and I barely use lip liners, so I don't know. I was just in the mood to try to find some good lip liners. Plus, I've gotten some in kits or free with purchase or subscription boxes, but let's go through my ColourPop ones first. I have the shade Grind, which is a purple. I'll just show you the bottoms because it's probably easier. Grind, I had Chi Chi, and I did have the matching lip colors at one time, and I don't think I do anymore. I have Lumiere, Polite Society, which is pretty old, and Taurus. Now, The reason I'm getting rid of these is because they're pretty old. Some of them are broken. Some of them aren't even in here anymore because the piece flew out, so it's just time for those to go. I also had a Charlotte Tilbury one in the shade Pink Venus, which was way too like pinky for me. I never used that tone. I have this one from Tarte in Boho, which is very nude, like too nude for me that I never wear it. I have an Orchard from Laura Geller, and this is more of a blue red, which I don't tend to use a whole lot. I used to kind of use the orangey red, those kind of ones, so passing that on because it doesn't really match any of the reds that I'm going to be using are going to be brighter than that. I have this Wet n Wild gel liner in Never Petal Down, which is a pretty pink, but I don't wear shades like that. I have, where does this say? Tawny from Jordana, which is really pretty, but it's pretty deep, and I don't wear that much that I need, because I have some Urban Decay ones too, which, like, Tawny would look nice with what I have on, but I have Urban Decay ones that I'm going to pick over the Jordana one, and try to use those up. And then when I repurchase, I might go back to Jordana, but it's just not what I need right now. And then I have a natural and organic lip crayon from, oh, that's the brand, Natural and Organic, okay. This is such a weird shade. It's like, I have to swatch this so you can see it. It's like a pink but orange, but it's like a shimmer, and I don't know, I just don't understand it really. So it's going as well. But those are finally all the things I'm getting rid of. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you think that it's beneficial for me to get rid of some of these. I know some people won't be happy with everything I've gotten rid of, but sorry, these have to go. So I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.